Rebuilding our planet is a really big task. If you're here at this time, then there's a good chance this is something you agreed to in advance. Still, you may have those moments moving forward when you start to feel moments of stress as our planet continues to change. Ara Wiseman is a leading nutritional expert and aging well specialist based in Toronto, Canada. I recently sat down with Ara to discuss how stress impacts our body and what we can do to release it. Today, we're talking about managing stress and anxiety, and this is something that we all feel, maybe even on a daily basis. So Ara is here to give us some tips on how we might be able to manage that a little bit better. So Ara, what do you think?
So it's about replenishing what's lost through daily living, because when we stress, we deplete ourselves of nutrients, specifically like vitamin B and vitamin C and minerals like magnesium. So we want to make sure that we're replenishing everything. And the other part of it is about weathering the storms that come our way, because when you get older, storms are going to come your way, and it's how you weather them that really makes the difference. So I always think about when you're going through something really stressful, don't dig yourself in deeper. And what I mean by that is make sure that you're hydrating really well. Make sure that you're looking after yourself while you're going through it. Because oftentimes when you're stressed, it's hard to make healthy decisions because we go for what is comfortable, right? And, we tend to sort of go for more high fat, high sugary, sort of caffeinated things, and they actually give us false emotional comfort, but in the end, they're actually depleting us even more. So it's really important that we replenish, and it's really important that we kind of almost step back from a stressful experience. It's like Einstein said, you can't fix a problem in the same mentality that created it. So, stress is one of those things that we're going to experience, and of course, there's healthy stress, but the problem with that is that our cells are actually listening to our thoughts. So every time we have a thought, it creates a chemical signal like a neuropeptide. And our cells have receptors for those chemical signals. So our cells are actually listening to what we're thinking about, which is kind of scary, but it also kind of just reminds you to think about what you're thinking about. The other part of that too is I read somewhere that 92% of what you think about isn't real. So those what ifs that we think about, like there's about 8% that has the potential to be real. So it's really important that we realize as well that our brain doesn't know if something is real or perceived. So if we're thinking all these what if things, it's still sending that cascade of hormones throughout our body, causing some damage, right? And putting us on high alert. So it's really important that we nourish ourselves. And I love the word nourishment while we're going through things, whatever that means to you, practicing self-care, doing things that are going to make you feel really feel really good. And one of the things I always say too is that it's a blessing to go within and find what you need. And not everyone can do that, right? Because if you're nutrient deficient, if you're going through a really stressful period in your life, it's hard to go within and say, okay, I feel great. Even though I'm going through this situation, I know I'm going to come out the other end okay from it with a little bit of residue, but not as much damage as it would have been if I would have given in to those temptations or those indulgences that I really want right now.
Yeah. It's like this false sense of gratification. Like you said, usually if we reach for that cheeseburger with all the grease and whatever, those are usually the type of things I go for. Then afterwards, like I feel okay in the moment, and then there might be temporary satisfaction, but then afterwards I feel even worse. Right?
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, that's not the way to do it.
No, because all that fat, sodium, and sugar is actually depleting you, and it's taking a lot of energy in order to metabolize that food. And food is supposed to give us energy, not take energy from us, right? Yeah. And that's what happens. So it's like that immediate gratification, because restaurant food notoriously has high fat, high sodium, and high sugar, and it's called the bliss point. And they know that. So it's like that all your taste buds are firing off and you're in that moment, right? But it's like that moment is fleeting, and you're going to go up and then you're going to kind of come down. And that's really not healthy for us. So I'm not saying don't have certain things. I'm just saying be mindful about what you're choosing and be mindful about how much of that you're choosing, and just being more moderate with the things that we do, but nourishing ourselves from deep within will really help us age well and not go through some of those things that happen to us as we get older, like those illnesses and things like that.
Remember, as Ara said, your cells are actually listening to your thoughts, whether a potentially stressful situation is real or perceived. Stress on the body is known to cause all sorts of health issues, including high blood pressure, increased depression, and a weakened immune system. Doing some basic self-care can help change your mindset and ultimately your reality. Ara is available for nutritional consultations. To learn more about the services she offers and get direct links to find her online, go to the New Earth section on UnitedNetwork.news.